Hey, what is up? Welcome back, Design Squad. And in this video, I'm going to answer one of the viewer questions, which is also super common. I would say it's in top 10 of frequently asked questions, and I could probably make that FAQ on my website. Maybe I will. But it's about imposter syndrome. He's saying, I just became a creative director, not sure if I'm doing good enough or I'm doing well. And of course, that's the imposter syndrome speaking, because we've all been there. And if you haven't experienced imposter syndrome before, you're probably a psycho and you should stop watching this video. But no, seriously, everybody experiences that. Everyone I know. I experience imposter syndrome almost daily. You know why? Because I push the boundaries. I try to improve, I try to step up, I try to challenge myself, learn, and through experiences develop as a person. And if you would want to avoid what's gonna happen, you're gonna end up at the cushy, comfortable, but quite complacent lifestyle. A lot of designers fear the imposter syndrome because they don't understand how to handle it, which I'm gonna share with you a few different tactics of how I managed to do that, and I still manage to do that as I go. But ultimately, you don't really want to do the same old stuff and never progress. You don't want to be stuck. You want to evolve. You want to keep up with the industry. You want to learn new tools. You want to experience new challenges and deliver even bigger impact as you grow as a designer, especially if you want to be a future leader in design. And so my tactics are very simple. What I want to start with here is really Seth Godin's words. The time spent fretting about our status as imposters is time away from dancing with our fear, from leading, and from doing work that matters. Simple words, a line. That's all it takes to understand what imposter syndrome is. It's us trying to avoid that fear. It's our human nature trying to avoid scarcity or taking risk under any cost. It's one of those or several of those biases of us trying to preserve our safety, our comfort. That's all there is. But if you think about it, we still have those instincts millions of years later where our ancestors actually experienced a true terror because we had to survive. We are not running from saber-toothed tigers anymore, but our minds don't know that. We haven't evolved enough to kind of shut our emotions and our reptilian brain to say, hey, chillax, just go for it, get after it. We don't know it. It's our instincts which are gonna persist for probably millions of years later. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say here, that we as mammals, as animals still, we attach those same terror notes and those triggers to things which shouldn't really terrify us. From our saber-toothed tiger today is really our boss, or maybe a stakeholder in business, or maybe a difficult client in design. But we kind of relate those two together because we don't really experience the true terror, true danger, true risks in our lives. And so if you think it that way, if you think that it's all about reducing the fear of, let's say, rejection, of the risks, of potential some sort of danger, you always have a safety net. You don't have to think about that way. You might be like, yeah, it's easier to say than to do, it's always difficult. I know. I experience that all the time. I'm not saying that I just kind of evolved and now I don't feel like it. I feel that all the time, especially as you progress with your career. But the tactic here is to recognize where it's coming from, and what you can do about it is say, F it. I'm gonna do it anyways. It's as simple as that. If you know that everybody's experiencing that, if you know that everybody is a hero of their own movies, they don't care about you that much, they care about themselves. If you know that it's your instincts which are playing, but in reality there is not really much danger, that you're always gonna be an imposter, you're always gonna be facing the same fears and same responses and same triggers, then you can overcome it. As you push, as you learn the new skills, as you're gonna need to practice, you are gonna face the same imposter syndrome again and again. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how advanced you are, as long as you proceed, as long as you chase that next goal. And a lot of designers who are just getting into UX design, a lot of my viewers, a lot of people who ask me questions are also facing that. Because they are learning new skills, because they don't know what good enough looks like, or if they do, they don't understand why, for example, some people are so harsh with their feedback, or they, reject the applications, or simply they just cannot get in, let's say, in design yet. And it could be that imposter syndrome is the blocker why they don't go forward, because of that fear. In Seth Godin's words, and just to paraphrase him, if you would give in into that imposter syndrome, it becomes an even bigger blocker because you cannot lead yourself. You cannot lead anyone else. You cannot dance with that fear. And life is all about dancing with risks, with fear, dealing with all those variables. And since we are all human, we're all facing the same psychological things which are limiting from our biology, which prevents us to take risks even if the gain might be even bigger. Imposter syndrome is going to stick with you for years to come. Learn to live with it like you would live with something which is mysteriously making noise outside. And maybe it's your power generator, but you kind of need to recognize that something is there. You kind of need to recognize why it's happening. And maybe once you do that, that noise is just gonna be a drumming beat which you can live with, because you know that you cannot do anything about it, because you're quite stuck with it, to be entirely honest. As per usual, if you like this video, give a like, subscribe to this channel, check other videos. I'm gonna leave floating them somewhere here. And on that note, I'll see you next time.